I say it's a beautiful place, has nice landscape, it's beautiful scenery, the town is nice, the people are nice, it's full of culture and great food.
I trust the community, I trust the people here. I enjoy living here. I guess one of the things I wanted for my kids was a small town feel. I get that feel from this community.
It is a very tight-knit community here in Española, and especially in our school, and it's nice to be a part of something bigger.
It's a geographical, magnificent wonder. I love living in this desert landscape. We have the Rio Grande and the confluence of two major rivers in northern New Mexico that for centuries have brought so much commerce and health and sustainability.
Being from here, I know that there's good people and, they're friendly here, but I think our past from how this community used to be, it used to be seen as like heavy drug community and stuff.
We don't graduate good students, that we're misbehaved, that everyone's a delinquent, that everyone's on drugs, that everyone is, any negative connotation you can put on it, they will. It's wrong. I think we're the best kept secret in the state.
Clubs I'm in and stuff, they always ask me, oh, like, where are you from? And I'm like, Espanola, and they, like, have something to say about it. Or, like, where I work, people asked me, and, like, I just get, like, a weird look or a comment.
You don't know us until you come to see our school. You don't know us until you see us in action. And we're not the reputation that we have. And we're more than that. And we have a lot more to offer than others think that we do.
Once people have experienced the culture, if they are able to go to, Indian dances at the pueblos, if they're able to experience, even at our churches, the, midnight mass or any of the events that they do, which have been done literally for hundreds of years and have a strong cultural bind to the community, it changes their minds.
As of late, the complex part of Española is that we are layered in, trauma. The people here are strong. They have a really beautiful bloodlines, and we've been through a lot over the centuries. So it's not that hard to sort of empower and sort of build them back up. But they're in a weak place right now because systemically for the last 50, 60 years, there's been some real challenges that have weakened the area. So the true colors aren't really coming through.
If you don't know where you come from, you'll have self-identity issues. And that's something that I kind of dealt with when I was growing up. There were some times where I didn't know if I was supposed to be Native American or I was supposed to be, like Catholic. And, it can be disturbing at times because, I rely on a lot of prayer. And, it was kind of hard sometimes, or it was hard, to really find my place, because I think I'm the type of person that really feels if you're gonna do something, you got to do it 100%. And being that I had this little struggle with this self-identity, I felt like I was in 50-50, so I really couldn't commit the way I wanted to. But then I found out that it is okay to be both.
There are certain circumstances that are pretty heavy duty for a 15, 16, 17-year-old student to have to deal with.
There's a lot of adverse environments that children have to go through. A lot of them live in poverty, single parent families. They might live with grandparents. They might go through some domestic violence or witness it.
Coming to school, right after school, going to work, after work, starting on my homework, it puts a lot of stress on me. I get maybe 5 hours of sleep.
Sometimes I want to leave because, I don't know, things get too hard. And, I get, start giving up, so sometimes I want to, drop out too.
But when you come into a community like ours, in a school like ours, that faces so many challenges in regard to poverty and incarceration and all the things that come with those things, you need a school that functions even better than most. And unfortunately, we're not there.
Well, honestly, the only adults I have in my life is my parents, which is my mom and my dad. They support me with encouraging me to come to school because they didn't graduate school, and they work really hard
So I don't want to let them down by dropping out or anything.
I go to school because education leads to a brighter future.
You can't show the world what you have to offer from your living room. Like, you have to get out there and, you know, prove yourself worthy, I guess.
And I'm here to try and share that same motivation my parents give to me with my friends and try to help them stay on the right path and do good in life.
They let me make decisions. They tell me, you know, we're going to be here for you no matter you succeed or you fail. Both my parents graduated from college, and they both are pushing me that I need an education, and they're supporting me and my needs.
Director has a script.
Sci-fi teacher, Mr. Dudgeon.
Some barriers are definitely financial issues, unless my boy Bernie Sanders gets elected president. No, but on a serious note, financial issues are a burden to me. They affect a lot of people in this country. And hopefully, if I get good grades, I can get scholarships, and that won't be a problem.
Coming from just a single mother, it would be hard to pay for college.
So I'm introducing them to these different fields, you know, but then, you know, the question comes in. All that, you know, to do that it's gonna be cost. It's gonna cost a lot. I have a goal in life and I want to achieve it, but I don't have the resources.
Financing can be a barrier, but with the socioeconomics of the town, there should be no reason why they can't fill out a FAFSA and probably receive some type of Pell Grant funding along with the bridge scholarships or lottery scholarships that are here.
You know, our community and most of the kids in our community actually qualify for a significant amount of financial aid.
If you're a Native American student, there's scholarships available that the tribe provides.
It has to be the whole community telling them, hey, college is necessary. It needs to be the whole community saying, you know, we'll help you financially. It needs to be the whole community saying, we'll help you with your education. We'll help you to go out there and get those scholarships.
I don't think access is an issue as much as going back to information. Do they know these things exist? Do they know that they're available? Do they know whether they should be using this thing or this thing? You know, so I think information may be lacking when it comes to the resources.
We need to start giving kids who don't have those resources somewhere to go. Maybe mentors or people from the community or just guidance counselors.
So the school obviously has counselors. Unfortunately, they're assigned about 250 each, 250 students each for each counselor. So they very rarely have the time, I think, to spend with students the way they'd like to. We do have a couple of social workers, full-time. Well, they were part-time, so I think 2 or 3 days a week, 2 of them, for a school of 1,000.
10, 12, 15 social workers, depending on the socioeconomics of a school, would be paramount for many students because they do need someone to talk to. There are certain circumstances that are pretty heavy duty for a 15, 16, 17-year-old student to have to deal with. And the more adults they can talk to, the more adults they feel that can advocate for them, I think the more trust they have, and then the more they're able to pursue their dreams of what they really want to do.
The only thing is that there's not much for us to do out there. Like in Santa Fe, how they have places for kids, we don't have much here. We have a Walmart, and that's pretty much what we do, is go there. I would say, like, if we have more places like the Lucero Center, how they offer options like swimming, basketball, boxing, stuff like that, art classes.
I think it's hard because as you get older, you start, like, getting bored at the house and you want to do something out in the community, and sometimes maybe there's not clubs, or even if you want to get a job, it can be hard for teenagers because, first jobs and stuff, unless you get lucky, you're more likely working at fast food.
I really enjoy dancing, and there's nothing like that over here, or really anything to
like go to my interests.
Like music programs. I like playing the guitar, but there's really nothing out there for me to like practice and stuff. So yeah, I'd prefer music programs.
They are often lacking resources. You know, they are often lacking other things to provide the children, you know, other than just focusing on the bare bones academics.
And to be a child, you know, not having to worry about what's going on at home or, you know, whether or not mom or dad's gonna come home. Provide support and encouragement into these children's lives. I think it's important that us organizations figure out a way on how to reach them. You know, whether it's going to the high school and giving out flyers, or just a website is so much easier. Kids nowadays, they just, maybe a Facebook page. I don't know, something. I'm just thinking outside the box.
Well, again, I think it goes back to, how do I ever know that that kid wants to be a dancer? How do I know that someone is interested in something? Have we asked them? You know, and so I think part of it goes back to, we have to listen to people before we can communicate what's available to them. Because we could say, here are all these great resources, and they might just say to themselves, yeah, but I'm not interested in any of that. You never even asked.
So pretty quick, right? Pretty easy.
You know, not much teachers are always like getting out. Like, what sucks about this class today is like English.
First teacher was her dad, because her dad was always encouraging her into getting into sports.
High school, she wanted to be a computer engineer.
Oh.
They think all the students in the classroom learn in like the same way, and we don't. So they like focus on one way of learning. The teacher I feel most connected to is probably Miss Strauss, because I've always had such a strong connection with her. I know I can trust her with like a lot of things. If I have a problem or I just want to talk to her, I know I can, like, she'll be there to talk to me about anything.
She treats me like, you know, like a normal person. Like, you can go into her class and she'll have a conversation with you about your day and how things are going with you in school. And she doesn't just focus on her class getting her work done and stuff like that.
And if a school is welcoming, or they feel that they have an adult advocate for them there, someone that they can turn to, then that makes them want to go to school more than if you're just kind of a face in the crowd and there's no one that really knows your own story, your own personal story.
It takes time to build relationships, whether that's between an administrator and a staff, between staff and students and themselves for that matter. For most kids, whether it's in our school or any other, they need that. You know, they need someone beyond their parents, beyond their friends or siblings, who they feel is supportive and can be trusted and they can go to with a particular issue. And I just think teachers need to understand that, and it needs to be explicitly stated. Otherwise, it's very easy to say, yeah, that's not my job. No one told me I have to do that. I've done everything you asked me to do, and now I'm going home.
You always try to find some type of personal connection with them, even if it's the fact that you taught their sister 10 years ago, or you know their mom, or something like that. And I think when you find that personal connection to them, they trust you. And when they trust you, they'll take mathematical risks for you when you're teaching the curriculum, because they're not afraid to fail. It's okay to be wrong.
He makes it fun, and like we can talk to him. I guess he opened up to us because we saw this video on Ray Bradbury, and it was very emotional and very nice. It was about life. And at the end of the movie, Mr. Dudgeon cried in front of us. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mr. Senna, because most of the time he tells the truth about his experience in school, and it kind of relates with us and how hard everything is.
Mr. Montoya, because if I'm ever having a bad day, he'll ask me what's wrong and give me advice to motivate me to keep going and just help me go through the day.
For me, I always feel that, you know, it's important to get out in the community and to network, to build relationships with, you know, different agencies, to build relationships with school boards, to build relationships with schools. Because a lot of times they might not know you exist. And, you know, all the agencies or the schools that I've talked to or the school boards, I mean, they all want to help the kids in one way, shape, or form. And so when they find out about, okay, we can get boys and girls club, I mean, they're like, well, how can I help? You know, like, let's sit down and see how we can offer this to more kids.
There's no way that one entity can handle thousands of children and families and the myriad of social issues that are interwoven into the barriers to success. You know, it's one thing to have these slogans of excellence, but you got to dig in deep, and you got to bow down and drop ego and really, really lace it up together.
You know, funding isn't necessarily the silver bullet, but it's just community involvement and the community understanding what challenges there are and how those challenges can be met.
I think most of us agree on most of these things already. Who doesn't want to live in a community with quality schools for their kids? In our community, at least, there are a lot of silos operating. How do you get them all to agree on these things? You have to have conversations. You have to have them get in a room with somebody else who you think even might differ with you, to the point where you understand, okay, maybe we don't see eye to eye on how to do all of this stuff, but we agree that it should be done. The how you do the stuff is almost secondary until we can agree on what is it that we want done.
If we can do more of sitting at a table and really laying out what the overlap is, how we can strengthen systems of delivery, wraparound services, continuation of services that really think broadly and thoughtfully on how best to serve humanity, I think we could do amazing things, because all the pieces are here. We don't need a single other more agencies, and I think all the money is here. It's just a lack of communication.
I think it all really just starts with us and the younger generation, because, you know, we're the ones that are growing up in this community, and we're the ones that are going to be setting the example. I figure if we help the younger people, eventually it'll change itself.